Welcome back. The Embassy of Ukraine, which is accredited to both South Africa and Namibia, has recently undergone a key transition. The former ambassador, Liubov Abravitova, has completed her mission, and a newly appointed ambassador to Ukraine to the Republic of South Africa has now assumed office. This change marks an important moment for regional diplomacy as Ukraine looks to strengthen and expand its bilateral relations with both South Africa and Namibia, particularly in areas of economic cooperation, trade, education, technology, and cultural exchange. To help us unpack these bilateral relations and understand the ambassador's priorities for engagement with Namibia going forward is Dr. Alexander Scherber, the newly appointed ambassador to Ukraine to South Africa, who also oversees the Namibian diplomatic relations. Ambassador, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Ambassador, first of all, congratulations on your appointment. How are you finding the region since assuming your office?
Well, everything is so different. It's absolutely different to what I was used to during my diplomatic career, which was happening mostly in Northern Hemisphere. The summer is winter, spring is autumn. The soil is red, not black like in Ukraine. And certainly, of course, people drive on the wrong side of the road. I'm getting used to it.
Definitely, the weather is always something to talk about and an exciting, interesting experience, rather. Now, Ambassador, as you take over from Ambassador Abravitova, what key priorities or goals are you bringing into your mission?
My key priority is to reach out to and to make a case for Ukraine and Ukraine's fight for freedom. Are absolutely clear that the majority of people in the hemisphere and huge chunk of global population is here in Africa. So, and we unfortunately have neglected for this part of the world for far long. So we have to make a case for Ukraine, for what Ukraine wants in this world, and Ukraine has to offer in this world, and it's a lot.
Now, Ukraine's embassy in Pretoria, as we alluded to earlier, also covers Namibia. How would you currently describe the state of bilateral relations between Ukraine and Namibia?
Well, the relations now are rather dormant. I'm not yet accredited to a country. I plan to do that as fast as possible. And to bring some life into the relationship, which I think my function will be opening the doors, for instance, Ukrainian business, and for Namibian business who might be in what Ukraine has to offer. So I will be opening doors for both sides, and from my experience from previous missions, we just need to give business, give culture, give the educational sphere just the opportunity to listen, and everything else people will do on themselves.
Ambassador, you briefly now touched on a range of priority areas, or rather a range of areas, but are there any specific areas you see immediate opportunities to strengthen cooperation between our two countries?
Well, for instance, strangely enough, and we weren't planning on that, but within the last years, Ukraine became one of the world leaders in drone production, and we have so much to offer technology-wise, also price-wise. We're very attractive for countries that are not very densely populated, but have big territories, for instance, Namibia. That's just one of the directions. The other one would be, for instance, education. Used to have in Ukraine large groups of during the Soviet time, after becoming independent. Right now, of course, it has changed because daily shellings from Russia, and it might be dangerous in some cities, for instance. But we do hope that once peace comes, we will revive this, education of African students we have to offer.
Many Namibians are interested in global partnerships that support skills development and economic growth. Are there initiatives Ukraine intends to explore with Namibia in this regard?
Well, continuing on, this cooperation in the sphere of academia. Before coming, I was meeting with the leadership of my alma mater, Kiev State University, Taras Shevchenko University, and they were stating in very clear terms, we want African students back. And it was rather touching, quite frankly. They are putting together of the students from previous decades, from previous years, and reached out to graduates from Ukrainian universities, and that many of them were studying and spent their happiest years of their lives in Ukraine, which was back then probably Soviet Union. Nevertheless, it was Ukraine.
Speaking still on education, Ukraine has historically offered educational opportunities to students from Africa. Are there any plans to revive or expand scholarship programs or academic cooperation with Namibia?
Well, for obvious, Ukraine doesn't have much finances to pump into educational sphere, but the desire of particular universities like here, Odessa, is enormous. The interest is that many of Namibians and people from other countries still uphold their contacts and their efforts they have with the country. Some of them even got married in the country, and we have, for instance, the first African Ukrainian member of parliament, former Olympian champion, mother is from Rwanda and mother is Ukrainian. So we have these that we want to revive.
Now, considering ongoing geopolitical shifts, how does Ukraine view the importance of partnerships with African countries such as Namibia?
As I said, this is and so-called global South. This is the global majority, and this is the majority of people throughout the world. These people should have understanding of what Ukraine fights for, and Ukraine fights for the same things you have been fighting for decades and centuries: freedom. We used the crown jewel of Russian Empire. Now the Russian wants its crown jewel back. And it's a very line between good and evil. And I just want to explain and to try to explain to many people in this region that it's not that difficult to understand this, intricacies of this fight. The line between good and evil is very clear. But as I said, Ukraine has a lot to offer. Ukraine is one of the biggest players on the global market. And if Ukraine is in trouble, then a global food market. It's the interest of Africa for Ukraine to be in peace and to enrich the world with stability and new opportunities.
Ambassador, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.